This is the Sigma 100-400 f5-6.3 lens, and it's available for Fuji now.
It's previously been around for the Sony E-mount, for L-mount, Panasonic, that's Leica, that's Sigma cameras, but it's new for Fuji, so we wanted to try it against the Fuji 100-400, which is a really excellent lens, and it's half the price. But shockingly, it seems to have some pretty big advantages, so we want to kind of compare it to the Fuji on our X-H2 and find out which one you should get.
Yeah, we're going to test it with wildlife and for large field sports. That should be interesting. But first, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Adorama. If you're looking to buy gear like these lenses or a new camera, you should go there, because if you're a creator, they have everything for you, not just cameras and lenses, but lighting, backpacks, tripods, any accessory that you can imagine. They have great deals, and you often get free stuff. So if you're buying a bundle, they might throw in something like filters or something like that. And if you decide to buy there, be sure to use our links down below, and that just lets them know that we're doing a good job making you aware of Adorama's greatness. Thanks, Adorama.
What should we start with? Maybe wildlife. Okay. The Sigma 100-400 is a full frame lens, and I wouldn't normally consider 100-400 to be a wildlife lens. Like, I'd like it to be a little bit longer. But now that it's for the Fuji mount, I really think of it for wildlife because the equivalent focal length is 150-600. And that's right where you want to be for everything from deer to dogs to smaller birds. That holds true too if you're putting it on like a Sony APS-C camera. So for wildlife, I was actually pretty shocked how much you got for $1,000. On this X-H2, the Sigma focused just as well as the native Fuji lens did. So no problems there. And when I zoomed in all the way to 400 millimeters, I could not find any difference in sharpness comparing this to the Fuji 100-400. Now, when I compared it to the Fuji 150-600, that definitely had more reach, and pictures were overall sharper. So if you are a dedicated wildlife shooter, you might jump right to the Fuji 150-600 at twice the price. But for wildlife, if you want a hybrid sports and wildlife lens, comparing these two, I didn't see the benefit of the Fuji, so I'd probably save some money and get the Sigma instead.
When it comes to the design of these two lenses, the Fuji is bigger in every way. It's a bit longer, it's a bit wider, and it's a bit heavier. The one feature the Fuji has that the Sigma does not is it's got this collar with a tripod mount. I feel like they're both light enough to hand hold, but if you'd prefer to put it on a tripod, you'd like that option. One thing that's interesting to me is that the Sigma's finish more closely matches the Fuji camera than Fuji's own lens. What's up with that? It's smooth. And other than that, it has all of the same buttons and everything in different places. So the feel, the functionality is very similar. So how did these two lenses compare optically speaking? Well, when we did side-by-side testing in a controlled environment inside, the Fuji was sharper, especially at the long end.
Zooming into 400%, the Sigma is sharp, but the Fuji is a little bit sharper. It is twice as expensive, and sometimes you get what you pay for. This also holds true at the edges of the frame.
But once we took them into the real world, the atmospheric conditions of just the world kind of diminish that difference. It's hard to tell when you're shooting at that long of a focal length, and there's stuff like moisture in the air and things like that.
Again, zooming into 400%, I can't see any difference between the Sigma and the Fuji, even though the Sigma is half the price. What about 400 millimeters? Here, I do see a difference in the real world. The Fuji is sharper. I would say throughout the range, 100 to 400 millimeters, the Fuji is sharper. And if you want the sharpest possible images, maybe that's worth the price to you.
When it comes to contrast and flaring, the Sigma performed better. You could see significantly more blooming and flaring on the Fuji, and that would be important to you if you were shooting landscapes and you wanted to shoot into the sun, or even if you're shooting sports where you're forced to shoot into the sun or bright lights, you might see some of that on the Fuji. When it came to shooting close up, the Sigma won hands down, and you can get much closer to your subject. So if you're shooting a bird up close or a butterfly or something like that, you are going to appreciate the magnification of the Sigma. And lastly, when it came to image stabilization, it was a tie, so they both worked well.
Here, the Fuji got 100% at 3 stops and 90% at 4 stops, and then dropped off quickly. The Fuji did just slightly better, but maybe not enough to make a buying decision. We're about to test it for sports. But first I want to say, no matter which of these lenses you decide to get, buy it from this link at Adorama. Why Adorama? Because they have really fast shipping. They have as much stuff as possible in stock.
They have the deal of the day, which is so cool to check for me. You're not into that? You like the VIP points.
I do, because I get points that I can spend on future stuff, and that just saves me money. I'm a practical person. It's also practical that you can actually chat with somebody and ask them questions. You can't do that at a big box store. Adorama has creators, they have experts, they understand you. So head to our link at Adorama. That lets them know that you heard about it through us, and hopefully that makes them want to fund some more videos like this, unbiased reviews. Now we have to shoot some sports at 15 frames per second with this X-H2. That means one of us has to run in this mist. So rock, paper, scissors?
I'm already going.
Okay. I always do rock because I'm a gentleman and I'm trying to let you win, and you're so bad at winning.
I can't see the kindness because I'm blinded by competition.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there's Tony. Let's see how many shots we can get in focus. Go.
I worked hard, but the results are kind of boring.
Whoa, it was definitely locked onto your face. It was doing a good job. It's raining. It's raining. We're doing a weather test. Go, Tony.
The Sigma got 69% of shots sharp, while the Fuji got 71%, essentially the same. The Sigma created 9.2 sharp shots per second, while the Fuji created 9.8 sharp shots. So the Fuji is indeed just a little bit better, but it's less than 10% and not an amount that I would consider statistically significant. We're going to wrap this up, but first I want to remind you about our sponsor Adorama, who makes unbiased videos like this possible. Because they often give you free stuff. They have super fast shipping, and maybe most importantly, they have VIP points.
If you're looking to buy gear, use our links down below to go to Adorama. That lets them know that this video was a success and we can make more. So what's our final consensus on this Sigma lens?
I'm so impressed by it. Actually, I'm shocked by it because, for one, that is a full frame lens design. It is not actually optimized for APS-C, which is why you can use it on like full frame Sony and Panasonic and Leica cameras. But in many ways, it still outperformed the Fuji lens at twice the price.
Okay, let's talk about that. So if you're using the Sigma lens, it is lighter, it is less expensive, and it handles contrast and flaring better.
And it had better maximum magnification. So if you want to get really close to a subject, you can get so much closer with the Sigma. But the only place it falls down is maybe the most important area, which is sharpness at the long end. And I say that's the most important because in wildlife, frequently, even zooming all the way to 400 millimeters, like 600 full frame equivalent, you still need to crop further.
Yeah, I think that if you're shooting wildlife and you know you're going to be zoomed in as far as possible, then you might want to go with the Fuji. But if you're going to be shooting sports and there's more variability in your focal length and you're not going to be cropping as much as wildlife, or if you're going to be taking pictures of things up close like butterflies, small birds, the Sigma is an excellent option.
I tested both of these against the Fuji 150-600, which is sort of their formal wildlife lens. It goes further, and it's the same price as the Fuji 100-400, about $2,000. And that is sharper than either one. So if you are doing only wildlife, pick up that lens from Adorama instead. Or if you want a more versatile sports and wildlife lens, the 100-400s are perfect.
I just got distracted by a kingfisher chirping behind me.
True wildlife photographers here. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, I swear they only come up to me when I'm filming a video. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more reviews like this, please be sure to subscribe. Leave a comment if there's more tests that you think that we should do. And thanks for watching.
Bye.